You can shoot the eagles, you can shoot the stone eagles. Why was I not told? Ja, das Bundensandler ist kaputten. I think it's the correct terminology. I am Couch Cook, and this is my Sniper Elite 4 review. This is 5, by the way. Before you dislike the video, unsubscribe and watch something from Game Ranks. What was that? Sniper Elite 4 was released in 2017, and it is from our beloved Rebellion, and it also bears quite a lot to Sniper Elite 5. We also have Resistance. It is based in Italy, so it is more Mamma Mia than it is Ihon Ihon Ihon, which is a reference to Sniper Elite 5. That was France. The game is still very much 8th gen. It sits on the HD drive. It hasn't had any PlayStation 5 optimization. I think this runs at the PS4 Pro spec, but still a pretty Sniper Elite game. And yes, the well rod is here. We can do 100% well rod runs. 100% well rod run. Try and say that quickly. That's actually quite a difficult one. Say it out loud. Why do we like Rebellion games so much? And why do we particularly like this Sniper Elite series? Well, it is a sneak and creeper, as the name suggests, but you do have a lot of options, and some of the emphasis leans on traps and mines and bombs, rigged corpses. They also are rigorous with sticking to their history, with having extremely grounded military hardware, with stats along with that. They also do a pretty efficient job with the AI, allowing you to sort of wreak havoc within these Nazi camps and installations. And there is that world famous bullet time. Sniper Elite 5 has a slightly different detection system on the soldiers. It's a bit stricter, and they have this thing called triangulation, which is a reference to them all communicating with each other. You annoy one, you've got the whole lot after you. They communicate, in other words, they triangulate their communication. It's all a bit looser in 4. They do suffer a bit of amnesia, but this actually isn't such a terrible thing. The reset time is a little bit quicker, so they go back to their normal status faster, making downtime a lot shorter. You're not waiting for everything to calm down because you accidentally shot an explosive barrel. We've all been there. That in turn just quickens everything up, making the game quite hectic in places, and it doesn't lean on big, long sniper canyon-like narrow sections. A lot of the maps are very oval, they're very circular. You can really go where you want and do everything in the order you want. 5 obviously boosts that as well, but it will throw you in some sort of locked arena style building sections at times. This is almost like full-blown freedom within the model. And 2017 do get shot in the leg up here, and the animation, stagger, gravity of their motion really looks current gen. Saying something looks current gen now isn't that much of a compliment, right? Crimson Desert, don't let us down, Crimson Desert. If you want, you can be sneaky, get into elevated positions and take stuff out from distance. There are loads of areas in the map to do that. It's just not that compulsory feeling. The weapon progression is definitely worth talking about after this headshot. The ribbon system isn't there, but you do get accolades for different death scenarios, being in cover, not using your empty lung technique. There's quite a lot of build on that. I deliberately didn't pick up any of the cooler stuff that they leave lying around everywhere in every crow's nest. I was like, no, I'm going to stick with that Springfield. I'm going to get it ranked up. It is certainly not as liberal with the reward on sticking with something, but all good things come to those who wait. Half-Life 3. Aye aye, Captain. You know the algorithm's going to put this video in the bin, don't you? Quite literally in a metal bin with an iron lid on it. Yeah, it's alright. That iron lid's been around for a while. Let's look at the explosives and fire. Doesn't it run well for 2017? It does look really good still, and it doesn't have any performance problems. That's the other thing. I think the boost on the Pro front sealed up any frame drops or even screen tear. It's a very pristine performing game. At no real point do you think this feels like something that's 9 years old.
Maybe I should deal with that chip.
Because of that slightly laxer enemy AI detection system or communication area, I feel the need to run and gun a bit more, and I'm a lot more shotgun focused and less sit up in a crow's nest and watch stuff going on. Going back to that 9-year thing briefly, the crouched run in the game has got a strangely Gears of War swing to it on the camera, and it's quite committal. You can't really look around as much as you can in 5. It's definitely a nod to that idea of sort of charging forward in a more linear stance.
Messages.
As mentioned, the whole game just feels so much more crazier in scenario and what could go down potentially within encounters. 5 really wants you to stick to that sniper brief, which is totally fair enough considering the series' heritage, and that's the name of the game. And that brings me on to location, because I think it's well important in the whole series to canonize how awesome some of these levels and maps are. Resistance and 5 do an incredible job with this, showing that Nazi occupation and putting you in some stunningly beautiful historic locations and buildings. 4 also does a really good job of this, putting you in some quite beautiful rural locations. Then in later stages things get a lot more metropolitan and you're introduced to bigger machinery, boats, giant railguns, that sort of thing. It is surprisingly confident on producing reflections, I feel, for 2017, and these don't hold up too badly. There is a lot of still and running water and actual oceans that are occupied with enemy ordnance, and you also have the classic planes flying over, giving you that opportunity, masking that gunfire noise. That sort of stuff has always been staple within the series, and you can tinker with generators, trap those and get them distracting people. So there's no lack of depth when it comes to solutions or the equipment that you're using within 4 against 5 or even Resistance.
Mann, klingst du gelangweilt.
And talking of the Resistance, this game introduces you to gunfights between the Nazi occupiers and the indigenous rebels. It's well cool to stumble across this stuff. I thought they should have got involved a little bit more with that earlier in 5. But again, I think 5 wants to lean on its traditions with making you very much a one-man army and not having these sort of bigger battles play out in front of you. Check out this bit of stealth.
In tali casi è necessario ampliare i confini patri per assicurare la sicurezza e il benessere della nostra gente.
It does introduce snipers from the Third Reich as your equivalent as well, but again, not early enough. But they're still cool to play around with. This guy annoyed me so much that I went right up the tower and took him out with my bare hands. Again, we've all been there. And briefly and lastly, on that enemy AI thing, you can get them riled up enough to actually call in reinforcements. And in later levels, that comes in as a bombing raid. But in this, they just push more troops in, slightly more aggressive. You end up just going to the shotgun or throwing the odd cheeky grenade. If you came to me with the three most recent Sniper Elite games, Sniper Elite 4, Sniper Elite 5 and Resistance, and said to me you have to choose one, I would, confessions, go for 5. Purely because it's so pretty, being a 9th generation game, and it's got some absolutely stellar locations. I'm currently on the Isle of Guernsey and it just looks amazing. But this would be a really close second, and that's the reason for the video. I was surprised at how close a second place it actually is, and in areas it's a lot more fun than 5. But run and gun funnin' isn't always the brief with a Sniper Elite game, and I think 5 is the more sober. This is available on Extra on the Sony side, PSN. I totally recommend it, and you're not going to be put off by it being an 8th generation game being played on the PlayStation 5. And if you're familiar with Sniper Elite 5, you're going to have a whale of a time with this. I will link in the comments my review to Sniper Elite 5 because I tried quite hard with it. It's got loads of Inglourious Bastards references and some quite meaty gameplay. I also think we're on the verge of Legacy PS4 Local Co-op Part 2. So stay tuned and I'll see you down there. What was that?